All right.
We're rolling. Okay.
Okay. So
hey, Anthony.
Hey, Sarah. All right. So
I'm so happy to be here. This is so exciting. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for hosting this event in the first place.
Yeah,
it's been a fantastic event. We're all here to support Prop 50.
Woo!
Everybody vote yes on 50.
Yes on 50.
So that we can take control back of Congress, or at least balance out what Texas is doing right now.
Hopefully.
All right, so everybody, I have a special guest here tonight. I have Dr. Sara Sadhwani. Sara is an award-winning political scientist and professor of politics at Pomona College.
I am.
And with a doctorate in political science from USC.
Correct.
Correct.
True.
Sara, yes, thank you. Sara has done research examining voting behavior, elections, and interest groups, and she specializes in, I believe, Latino and American studies?
And Asian Americans,
Latina and Asian American studies, and has been published in multiple peer-reviewed journals, and she also has a number of articles published in huge news sources like CNN, HuffPost, Guardian, and more. So, Sara, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. I also should mention, Sara is currently a commissioner on the Citizens Redistricting Commission, which helped to create the previous current electoral maps that are being used by California.
That's right.
Sara, so first of all, thank you for hosting this party. It has been absolutely excellent meeting everybody here to support Prop 50. And you were also, I understand, at the No Kings rally with us.
I was.
On Saturday.
Yes, yeah. It was very kind. They asked me to come and say a few words about Prop 50 and my experience on the Redistricting Commission and why I support it, right? Because it's kind of like a odd thing. I helped to draw the current maps and yet here I am supporting here. So
I think that's a place a lot of Californians are in, is this odd dichotomy of, well, we support free and fair maps.
Correct.
But, we also have to hit back on what the Republicans are doing in other places. There's a balance to be found there. So let me start with a few questions for you. First of all, for some of our viewers that may not be fully clear on it, what is Prop 50 to you? What does it do?
So Prop 50 is a direct response to President Trump's push in Texas. He called up the governor of Texas, asking him to find 5 Republican seats. And California said, we're going to respond. And California voters, we have a very different system here in California. So California voters have the opportunity to respond and say, no, if Texas is going to do this, then we will respond in kind. So Prop 50 is a new drawing of our legislative maps for Congress, drawing in more Democratic seats.
Absolutely. And if you don't mind going into it for just a minute, how exactly does it do that? I know the word perhaps gerrymandering is not a word. People aren't familiar with how exactly it works. So what is Texas doing? What are we doing to counteract?
Yeah, so Texas redrew maps so that there's more seats that have a majority Republicans in them. And so here in California, that is exactly what Prop 50 does. New maps were drawn. Currently, we have 9 Republicans in Congress from the state of California, based on the maps that I helped to draw. Many very, very competitive seats, and on balance, competitive seats should be a good thing. We should want to have competitive congressional seats in all 50 states. Sadly, that is not the case. California is one of only 4 states to use this very fair independent redistricting process, and the only really big blue state. The other states are Arizona, Colorado, Michigan. Those are purple states. There's not a big red state that uses this fair process. So in many ways, unfortunately, this is California kind of balancing things out at the national level.
Right. And we have the power to do so.
We do have the power to do so.
We have the power to do so if the voters of California say yes. So this is not just Governor Newsom
making an executive decision.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's been one of the key points I've heard in opposition as to Prop 50 is that this is just politicians attempting to take control. When really that's, I think, what we've seen in Texas.
Correct.
And here in California, while it may be a special election, it is an election that's going to the people to make the final decision on.
The ballot initiative process here in California is the finest example of direct democracy. So if this passes, this is because it's the will of the California voters to make this move. Independent redistricting commissions were put into place here in California back in 2008. And if you think about where we were in 2008, we were also electing Barack Obama as president. I think that we all, especially here in California, we thought we were on a different path.
Absolutely.
And now here we find ourselves in 2025 with masked gunmen kidnapping people off the streets and the National Guard out in our cities. It feels a lot different than 2008, and it's okay if California voters decide that they want to take a different approach.
Absolutely. And one thing that I think is important for people to realize is that Prop 50 is in a lot of ways a different approach than what Texas is doing. Can you talk a little bit about how it differs from what Texas did?
Yeah, well, so Texas did a redraw and then the state legislature passed it. Here in California, that redraw happened. And for the first time, I think, ever in history, these maps have gone out to the California voters. And so voters have the opportunity to look at these maps, decide for themselves whether or not they want to do it. I did not play a role in drawing these new maps, but my understanding is they've used a lot of the communities of interest that we developed for the commission process. So keeping a lot of various communities together that had asked to be kept together. A new report just came out today. Actually, with some of my colleagues at Cal Poly Pomona. I'm at Pomona College, but Cal Poly Pomona did a project looking at these new maps and the impact on Latino voters. They actually find that these maps do very well for Latino voters. Similarly, a scholar at UCLA, Natalie Masuoka, did an analysis for Asian Americans. Similarly, they found that these maps are actually really great for Asian Americans. Even the Republican Asian American members of Congress are maintaining their seats. So on balance, these maps, it is a gerrymander, but they've done a lot of things that have empowered California voters and their opportunities for representation.
And my understanding is it's temporary, right?
It is temporary, exactly. So this is only in place until 2030, the 2030 election. Come 2031, a new commission will be seated and they will retain the power to draw the next set of congressional maps.
So it's purely a response.
It is purely a response.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so how would you respond to, one of the common criticisms I hear about Prop 50 is that by redistricting in California, we are stooping to the same level as Texas and the Republicans. How would you respond to that?
You know what? I have 3 kids myself. And one of the things I've always taught them is don't be a bully.
Yeah.
But if a bully comes after you, you can defend yourself. And I think that's what Californians are doing. A bully came after representation at the national level, and California is standing up and saying, hell no.
As we know, where goes California? So goes the nation.
So goes the nation. Exactly.
One more question for you. So, you and I are certainly not alone in our support of Prop 50. Can you talk a little bit about what other groups in California are supporting Prop 50?
Absolutely. There's a lot of different groups, a lot of various unions, Planned Parenthood. Barack Obama, of course, came out recently.
I saw the ads. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, he stole some of my lines. He's been playing his commercials more than mine. But the other people that are not supporting it, but who are also not opposing it, are Common Cause and the League of Women Voters. Those are 2 organizations that have fought for good governance. They've fought for independent redistricting. But in this case, they actually backed away from opposing Prop 50 because I think that they really recognize that our democracy at the national level is very much on the line. So to me, that's a very telling piece that these 2 really powerful organizations that stand up for good governance are saying, hey, we're going to stay neutral on this. We're not opposing Prop 50 because we recognize that there's some real issues going on nationally, due process, the executive overreach. These are things that we do need to combat.
Yeah, but there's certainly people who are opposing it, and there's a lot of ads going out against Prop 50, and I think we need to fight back against that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of money behind that.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the main backer of it is Charlie Munger, a billionaire who got his money predominantly from his father, who, supported independent redistricting. And I of course, love that. I would love to see independent redistricting in all 50 states.
Yes.
But at this point in time, when it's only happening in California, it's like taking a rubber band to a gunfight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And on a more personal level, if you don't mind me asking, there's a lot that's happened in the last 9 months now since Trump has been elected. If you had to pick one thing that's like most personally affected you or is most important to you that, Prop 50 helps solve that issue or at least address it, what would you say that is?
When I first came to California, I started working in the immigrant rights movement. When I see innocent folks being nabbed off the streets, being ripped out of their homes, parents dropping their kids off at daycare or school, being taken away, even immigrants who are going in for their court visits, they're doing it literally the right way, and still it seems to not even matter. I thought that we were a nation of law and order.
Yeah.
I thought that was always the thing, especially for Republicans, that was what they
was
wanted. That was their whole shtick. But that doesn't appear to matter anymore.
Yeah.
So I really do believe that while Prop 50 may not change that immediately, it is a very clear sign from Californians that we do not stand with this, and we want to protect our neighbors and our communities from this kind of excessive overreach from the president.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for taking the time to speak with us.
Thanks for
And
having me.
do want to ask our audience as well, if you are one of the people watching us and you are a resident here in California and can vote, please vote yes on Prop 50. The election ends on November 4th. If you haven't voted already by mail or otherwise, you can go in person to polling places and register to vote same day. Every vote is going to count. If you cannot vote yourself, please reach out to your friends, to your family members in California. Ask for their vote. If you can donate to the cause, we ask you that you do that as well. This is one of the best ways that Californians in the nation can fight against the Republican takeover in Congress. And we are here to say yes on Prop 50.
Yes on 50.